debate will forever rage on. Look, this is crazy. I didn't expect a lot of people to even see my video. If LeBron James is king, Michael Jordan is. But I just put it up just to put some content on my channel because I had some plans for the channel in the near future. But I'm working on other stuff, and I'm really not a video YouTube content creator. But I appreciate the subscribers. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the comments, the likes, the dislikes. Yeah, I really rock with it. Like, I was just having a play on words. You know, a lot of people coming at me talking about, you calling Mike God? No, I mean, to be honest with you guys, I believe each and every one of us is God in his own right, in his or her own right. That's another conversation. But the reason I come to that conclusion is because some of the things I've come to understand about the essence of source and the cerebral spinal fluid, you know. So, you know, it's all relative on what you believe, but to know thyself is to know God. But that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not going to get into it. But Larry Bird referred to Jordan as God. And LeBron James' nickname is King. So I just was having to play on words in terms of the traditional thinking. You know, God's create everything. God created everything. King is just a product of man. So I was just having to play on words. And I think some things is understood. You don't have to say it, but, you know, I understand it's fun. And it's also, some people take offense to it. No disrespect to anybody's belief. You know, believe what you believe. You know, whatever gets you through. I'm a firm believer in that. But anyway, people coming at me, of course, with the same arguments. Scotty made Mike. Mike never won a championship without Scotty. Well, Scotty never won a title without Mike. And if we really take a look at who made who, and we really take a look at things, like Scotty had an opportunity to win a championship without Mike. The Bulls, Tony Kukoc, that team, when Mike went to play baseball, they were in the playoffs. They was making a push. But that final game, well, not the final game, but the final game to one of those series, I can't remember which series, somebody come on here and correct me. But Phil Jackson drew up the last play, the final play for Tony Kukoc. To me, that just showed how much trust Phil Jackson had in Scotty and his ability to close and his leadership and who he was, you know, in terms of the team. So he pouted, he sat out and refused to go back into the game. Let's not forget that. Also, let's not forget that, you know, they always talk about Mike couldn't get over the Bad Boys Pistons and Bird and them. Let's think about the team he was playing with. Scotty was getting punked and bullied. Horace Grant was getting pushed around and bullied by Detroit. Those guys had to grow up. They was like, Scotty would get migraines. I remember Michael and Xavier McDaniels was like face to face, like they was going to go to blows. And Mike made a comment regarding that saying, I felt like I had to stand up to the bully, you know, in order to give my team some confidence. So I look at that like the little brother getting punked by the bully, the big brother come and save him. You know, and I look at that like that too, with Mike coming back to basketball after the baseball thing to save those guys, to lift those guys back up. So it's all based on perception. A lot of people talk about LeBron's durability, 17 years in the league. That is dope and it's great. But I'm going to say, if you take Mike's 3 years in college with his 15 seasons, that's 18 seasons. If you look at his last year with the Bulls, that would be equivalent to year 16. So that's real. It's definitely comparable. And in that year, his last year with the Bulls, we all know what he did. MVP of the league, scoring title, and also the finals MVP with a walk-off mid-range for the ages. We still look at that shot. They still show that shot. And I don't know how many years now it's been. So we know what he did in 16 years. Also, they say that LeBron is a better player than Mike all around. To me, that too is kind of like a misnomer. It's almost like it's Mike, everything that he can do gets overlooked. Mike does everything. Like whatever the team needed, Mike did it. He would fill that void. He could pass, he could shoot, he could rebound, he played defense. Let's not forget, 9-time all-defensive team, 10-time scoring champion. I remember the Bulls switched Mike to point guard for a stretch because they needed help. They were struggling in their offense getting the offense set up and scoring and passing the ball and moving the ball. So they asked Mike to play point guard, which is not his natural position. While he ran off 7 straight triple-doubles, had about 18 triple-doubles for the season. But that's neither here nor there because I said stats is not really the true measure for it. So I'm disregard that. But let's not act like Mike didn't do everything. He did whatever was needed for the team to win. I remember his career high, 69 points against the Cavaliers. While in that game, he also grabbed 18 rebounds. Mike did it all. And then someone else made a comment. I thought it was a great comment. He was talking about play styles. How LeBron had to adjust his play style. You know, based on the changing of the NBA and he could adapt. Well, Mike had to adjust his play style as well. What gets overlooked is when he came back from baseball, now he's facing his legacy. Meaning those kids that grew up, you know, aspiring to be like Mike. He had to play against these guys. Allen Iverson, Horace, Grant Hill, Shaq, Penny Hardaway. And everybody know how much of a killer Kobe was. So now Mike is facing these guys and he doesn't have the same athleticism. So what did he do? He adjusted his play style. The dude developed a turnaround fadeaway that was unstoppable. So he dominated the game one time, one way, came back, was less athletic, and dominated the game again with a turnaround fadeaway. You couldn't stop. Only 2 guys in the history, 3 guys, I think, in the history of the league had a shot that just you couldn't stop. Wilt, because Wilt, his size, he was so big, he had the honey dip. They called him honey dip. He would just flip the ball in the basket. Nobody could stop because he was so tall. Kareem had the sky hook, you couldn't stop. Mike, that turnaround fadeaway. So to say that I can't say definitively that LeBron is a better all-around basketball player because the role Michael Jordan plays on his teams doesn't really showcase all that he can do. So that's a little unfair. So to me, through my lens, I don't think anybody compares to his airness. That's what's up, man. If you guys are celebrating the holiday, happy holidays. I'm also going to say this. I appreciate all the comments, all the feedbacks, all the subscribers. You know, maybe I'll start, developing this channel a little bit more. But I'm going to say that even the negative, the so-called negative, disrespectful shit people want to say, and a lot of you guys came on here and quoted the lyric from Kanye Jay-Z's song, No Church in the Wild. And I agree, ain't no church in the wild. And I also believe that God is beyond the church. It's all about the spirit. The spirit exists in everything. But I'm going to say, you guys come at me, what's a God to a non-believer? So I'm going to say, what's disrespect to a man that's no longer driven by his ego? I love y'all, man. Godspeed.